Hello folks, and welcome to the Two Dyspraxics. This is episode 4, and today we're going to be talking about planning. And I'm Barbara Neill.
And I'm Matthew Munson.
Now, planning for dyspraxics can be something of a nightmare because we find it very difficult to plan anything, as I'm sure anybody out there who has dyspraxia will know firsthand. But it's also absolutely essential for us to plan when neurotypical people don't really have to very much. So when, for example, we're doing some cooking, well, certainly I'm speaking for myself here, and we've discovered, having chats beforehand, that Matthew does exactly the same as me.
I didn't realise, kind of from my point of view, it was a dyspraxic thing. I thought it was just me, but talking to Barbara, actually, it does seem to be more of a common trait than I realised.
Yeah, when I'm cooking something, I have to have everything there to hand. So even if it's a case of just taking cutlery out of a drawer and putting it on the worktop on top of where the drawer is, so it's as fundamental as that, but I have to have everything I need, and everything has to be prepared before I can start. So I can't just chop up onions and throw them into a pan and then I'll go and get some mushrooms out of the fridge and prepare those. I can't do that. I have to have it all prepared in advance. So everything's there to hand. That's the only way I can do it. So that obviously takes a fair amount of planning.
I was then when I first started cooking, when I moved out of home, I tried kind of the route my mum used to do, and very much kind of as she went, and I couldn't kind of cope with the kind of demands of, right, now go to the fridge, now go here, now go there, and the freezer and whatever.
Yeah.
My mind was just going,
And you can have something on the hob at the same time, which could catch fire.
But you then try to stir and keep it kind of going, whilst also chop it. No.
One thing at a time, and it has to all be there to hand.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think the same thing applies. It's not just cooking really that we have to plan, because it's like, I know we've already talked about public transport, but when I'm making a journey, I have to know in advance. I have to look at street view so I can see what the destination looks like. You know, how I managed without street view in the olden days. I just can't. I don't know how I ever managed to get from one place to another.
Or just Google Maps in general, just having that ability to have a bit of paper in your hand that you know is up to date, fairly well speaking, and you can actually follow it as you go and turn the page. And wonderful invention.
yeah, absolutely. So, but I need to know. It's like if I catch a train somewhere, I have to know which platform it goes from, what time it goes, where it stops. And I have to know this, and I have to have it written down or typed out. Actually.
Well, considering we talked about handwriting, for both of us, and I think that's certainly for me as well. I think I mentioned in one of the first vlogs we did about kind of, I do a lot of travelling for work on public transport because of the area I cover, and the everyday, the routine trains that I get are fine because I know them like back in my hand now. I'm comfortable with them. But as soon as there's a change to my routine, like I have to get an earlier train or a later train, or the train's delayed, it throws out my routine, and I have to kind of then I get quite anxious because it's not then how I'm comfortable with it, and I'm not kind of rehearsed for it. I guess, and it gets quite stressful. After
it can get very stressful, I think, if you're going into any kind of new situation as well, which you can't plan for. That's very. I find that so difficult. In fact, it's like I went to, because I'm a very keen genealogist, and I went to the Who Do You Think You Are live exhibition last weekend, and I had to get 2 tickets. I mean, this might sound a bit silly, but I had to get a ticket for one day and then a ticket for the next day, because so I could go and sort of do a recce, if you like, on the first day. It's like a dummy run.
Exactly.
So I can see what it's like, experience the place, know what stands are there, and then I can go back the next day and
actually be confident on the day you want to go back, and actually be confident.
And then have an idea of what I'm doing. So, in other words, just to be in the same situation as a neurotypical person going for the first time, I have to do all that planning beforehand, and that's where it does get really difficult, I think, for anybody with dyspraxia, because it's tiring. We're doing something that's difficult for us to do anyway. We find planning hard to do, and yet it's absolutely essential just to be on a par with everybody else.
I think that's the thing, and I know we've talked in the previous vlog about kind of the labelling of it, and kind of making sure that we're not kind of playing on it, which I know most people don't do, but it's about keeping ourselves level and equal to a neurotypical person, which is quite right and proper, kind of having that equal opportunity and equal chance. But often kind of being dyspraxic means we have to perhaps put on some extra levels of effort to get to that same point. And it's difficult to describe how it can feel, because certainly for me, I feel quite exhausted sometimes.
It is exhausting, yeah.
Because you constantly have to be almost on your, not on your guard more, that's possibly the wrong word, but on your...
You can't relax as much, because I think a neurotypical person can just, oh yes, I'll just go and catch a train, I'll see you at the other end. And it seems to be almost like magic, they can just do it without having to go through all this stuff in advance.
I always call it the unwritten rules. It's like the unwritten rules that kind of a neurotypical person seems to just get, somehow, that it's almost like, oh, hang on, how did that happen? How did you know to do that, and then that, and then that? Yeah. No one's told me how to do that. I need it explained to me.
Yeah.
Preferably a couple of times. Preferably then give me a hand afterwards so I can refer back to it again if I need to, because I'll probably forget. Yeah. Let's be honest, and I will do. Yeah. I know my mum kind of often tells me off for that. Sometimes she'll say, Matthew, why didn't you do that? Oh, sorry, I forgot. But I told you twice, and I texted you. Yeah. I know you did, but
doesn't make any difference.
I still forgot, and that's not being malicious or awkward or anyway. It's just I forgot.
Yeah.
It's
because I think it comes down to this sort of lack of understanding of people who don't have dyspraxia themselves. When people have said to me in the past, well, it's quite straightforward, all you do is this, and I get very worked up by that, because for me it's not straightforward, because I don't think in the same way, I can't think in the same way that neurotypical people do, because my brain is wired in a different way. So that means that we have to think of things in a more complex way, it seems to be, doesn't it?
And often perhaps it involves 2 or 3 extra steps along the way. And it, just to reinforce the point that Barbara said, it's not about being awkward or bloody-minded or just for the sake of doing it that way. It's because we feel we have to do it that way to kind of get it into our heads. And who knows, in 3 or 4 times that we've done a particular journey or cooked a particular meal, we could probably have it so down pat that we probably could just do it in the same way as a neurotypical person. We had to do it 3 or 4 times in our own way to kind of learn it first and get ourselves comfortable with it.
Yeah, and then again, if whatever it is that we've learned is something that we're not keeping going the whole time, I mean, this is certainly true for me, that then I have to start again from scratch if it's something that I have to do again, say, months later or whatever. And
then I've often noticed people who then have seen us do it well before, but then see us, they go,
you've done it, but you've been here before.
I saw you 6 months ago doing that task. Yeah, lovely, that was 6 months ago, I've slept since then. Yeah. And that old joke about I've slept since then, for me it's actually true. If I've slept 5 times and not done something, well, that's it, I haven't got space for that. I think I've got something else to think about. I've got more interesting things to probably do in my head. That's how my head works, and it kind of gets very easily distracted and
very
goes off to other things.
Yeah, I understand that totally.
Frustrating sometimes.
It is.
But fun at the same time, on other hand. On other aspects, the I always say I know we talked about that in the pilot, the creativity side. Yeah. I think that's perhaps a nice part of it, and there's a lot of difficulties with dyslexia, but actually,
there are some pros as well as cons. It's not all doom and gloom.
Yeah, but certainly with the planning, perhaps coming slightly off topic there. Sorry. Yeah. That's probably another vlog, kind of getting distracted easily, and so there you go. So that's number 5. Not today. We haven't got time today, but maybe another day. Planning's a hard one, isn't it? Sometimes.
Yeah, and it does rankle me really, because it's something that we find difficult to do, but it's also something that we have to do at times when neurotypical people don't. I think that's what makes it very complex for us and very difficult and tiring, extremely tiring. Yeah. So having said that, I think I need to go and have a snooze.
Yeah. And perhaps a bit of Valium for me, definitely. So thank you for watching. The number 4 now. We're up to 4 in the series. 4. Blimey, we're doing well.
And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye bye.